So team, welcome to the ISTQB foundational level training orientation session 2. We just had one high level orientation yesterday. Basically, it's an introduction to what is an ISTQB is all about. Um, Definitely everyone would have heard about what is an ISTQB, but not to the detail of like what exactly their organization does, what kind of certifications they provide, what are the different levels of certifications they have, apart from foundational level, and what is the advantage of going for the certification. So who will recognize this? I mean, does everybody knows about ISTQB? The companies know about ISTQB. Apart from this, you might have even heard about something like CSTE, which is another certification for the testers, but that's more like a little high level. And I would strongly recommend that the foundational, I mean, the beginner level is the ISTQB foundational level. So that's the kind of discussion we had. So any questions from that, people who have attended yesterday? Otherwise, I'll get into a little more details about the exam, the certification, and we will go into the details of like exam pattern, the number of questions and all that. And in case of certification validity, if anybody has a question, so this is valid. I would say it's valid forever. This is like our marks memo that we get it. But if somebody wants to take it up when there is a change in the syllabus and all, it's most welcome. But otherwise, once you get certification on the foundational level, that's valid for your career, entire career. And we'll also look into the different sites for each country. So you may be from US, UK, or India, or any other country. So you can go a little deeper into that website and try to understand what are the examination slots available for this upcoming month, well, maybe 2 months from now, what is the fee structure and all that. Okay, so we kind of understood quickly yesterday this one, introduction to ISTQB certifications, advantages of ISTQB, details of the exam. We'll go into that today. Who can take this exam? So I told anybody who is in the beginner level, who is like definitely less than 5-6 years of experience, 0 to 5-6 years of experience, are the best people to go for this foundational level. But even if you wanted to take advanced level, like that's what we discussed, I can quickly show. Here is the levels. Even if you wanted to take the other one, the foundational level is mandatory. So even if somebody wants to take advanced level, for example, you wanted to go to advanced level test analyst, or you want to go to advanced level test manager, you cannot directly go to this. You have to have foundational level certification. So it is very important to gradually get these certifications over a period of time, like less than 4 or 5 years of experience, try to get this, and then another 4 or 5 years of experience. When you want to become, test analyst and test manager, then you can go for advanced. In between, if somebody is really, passionate about certificates, once you see the benefits of how they are adding value to your profile, you can even try to achieve something related to agile, or these are the new certifications that they are coming up. Some of them are still under development. Some of them are in beta, which is going to roll out very soon. So you can even plan for them. But to do any of these, the first and foremost thing is a foundational level, which we are discussing right now. And then here is a full set of certifications list that they have. So they're also coming up with advanced level more on the technical side, which is still under development. These are there for a while. Test manager, test analyst, technical test analyst are there for a while. Agile tester is there for about 2 to 3 years. Security tester, automation engineer was also there for about 2 to 3 years. Foundational is there for almost, I would say like 15 plus years. And then there is an expert level as well. Once you're done with advanced level, you feel that this is definitely adding value to my profile. And when you want to get into the next level, so you can go for the test management or improving the test process. So the people who completes these test management, expert level test management and improving the test process, they will be considered as a core QA, I would say, like analyst who will change the process for the company itself, not for a team, not for multiple teams. You will be working as a contributor to the overall organization in terms of changing the process. So that's the level of expert level certifications. All right, so I'll just quickly walk you through this PDF that we have discussed yesterday. In case if you have any questions, you can let me know. Otherwise, we will discuss more about the exam pattern, the type of questions, all that. So just for the benefit of the people who are attending today, so this is stands for International Software Testing Qualifications Board. It's you can see like headquartered in Belgium. This is kind of founded in 2002. It's a non-profit association, so it's a group of volunteers from different organizations came together and started the thought that QA or software testing is not by accident. Finding the defects is not by accident. We need to have a step-by-step, clearly defined process, and people should also go through the same level of understanding and the importance of the QA. Then only they will be able to do a better job. That was the whole idea, and they've started with these course and the certification. Its own constitution, rules and regulations. There are volunteer international testing experts, and they are basically, this organization is responsible for anything that you see ISTQB, and you see this registered logo for the various certifications. This team is the whole responsible, and it's a worldwide leading organization for certification of professionals in software testing alone. You can go through this video. I'll just ping this link for you guys over here, or you can in fact download this. From where did I get that? So the main website, irrespective of which country that you are in, the main website is istqb.org. After that, I'll show you from in-country websites as well to where you can go for it. But once you are here, you can go to the home page and you can go to About Us. So basically, this is the slide that I've taken, ISTQB summary slides. And then you can, if you want, you can even take the brochure as well. And you can click on these ISTQB offices. So that's okay. Yeah, go to ISTQB worldwide. Then you can find out here, find an exam provider for your country, your location. You can find out that. And your local member board. So you'll have this, each country will have these. And for example, for the India, this is a website, Indian Testing Board. So this is from where you get other information related to India. What are the different locations I can go for the certification, and who can, like, yeah, what are the prometric centers who are associated with them, and what are the exam dates available. So those kind of things. And depending on where you are in, like Japan Software Testing Qualifications Board. We'll just keep this open on a new tab so that we can drill down more. Similarly, Brazilian, and then you have people in US will go for this. If there are people from Australia, you'll go for this. So like this, in case if there is anybody from Canada. So like this, every country has, again, an individual website. But for all of these, the main website is the istqb.org. So this is the main website. Okay, so here you can find, if you still have questions on like why somebody should go for certification, here are the features. The syllabus is defined from the experts over the industry, global recognition. You can write it in common language and your own language as well, non-English. Adherence to code of ethics, available publicly, openness, the kind of continuous improvement to the syllabus, and the professional standing. Just I was telling in today, the beginning, that the certification is valid forever. I mean, unless you really wanted to uh, take again when there is a new syllabus. So if you see foundational level, it was edited in 2011, the course that we are going to go through. And again, it's recently edited in 2018. So we'll also just keep this open, the content, so that we can go more about it. Yeah, so this is about the certifications, why somebody should do it. And you can get it like the older one, new one, agile tester model. So for each of them, you can understand the syllabus and the certification level details. So obviously you will go into this 2018 specific one. Exam questions and pass rates, so that we can also get it from here. Like number of questions, 40, time, 60 minutes. And in case if somebody is writing in a non-native language, let's say you are from China and you're not writing in Chinese language, maybe you're writing in a different language, then it's going to be 75 minutes. The pass percentage is 65%. And here are the K level questions. So we'll just open this K level. What is mean by K levels? The questions are mostly, it's all multiple choice questions without, no negative marking, but you'll find questions of these. For foundation and advanced, you'll find K1, K2, K3, K4 type of questions. And from expert, for the expert level, you'll find even K5 and K6. Anyway, this is now out of discussion for us, but let's look at what kind of questions you'll find. K1 is mostly as it is what we discuss, let's say in chapter 1. Okay, so we'll just quickly glance through if there is any change in the 2018 syllabus. So this is the 2018 syllabus. I showed you yesterday's the kind of full-fledged syllabus that we used to go through, but this is the modified and simple, but very powerful in terms of 2018 updated syllabus. So we're going to go through fundamentals of testing, like what is testing, why testing is necessary, 7 testing principles, the testing process, and the psychology of testing. So these are from the chapter 1. And the second one is testing throughout the software development lifecycle, which is understanding different software development lifecycle models, test levels, like you have unit testing, integration testing, system testing, right? So the different levels, test types, black box, white box, gray box. There are different types of testing. And then what is maintenance testing? So lots of projects, fortunately or unfortunately, more than 70% of the projects that we work are maintenance projects. It's not that every time you get a brand new project to work from the scratch, right? So if you're going to work in a maintenance project, how you're going to plan your maintenance testing, and how as a test engineer you'll play a key role in case of maintenance projects. So that is what we're going to understand. There's so much of focus on static testing. It's being separated. So previously, before anybody jumps onto uh, dynamic testing, which is the actual functional performance load testing, static testing was just like a subchapter where we used to do reviews, inspections, walkthroughs. But here it's been considered as a separate chapter altogether. And we're going to understand the different static testing techniques. Especially there is so much of focus on the review compared to walkthroughs, inspections. So much of emphasis on the review process. So we're going to understand review process in detail. Like, I mean, generally review, as the term says, it's reviewing any document, but as a process, if I have to just explain in a simple nutshell, let's say if I have a deliverable, let's say I've written a test plan and I wanted that to be reviewed by subject matter experts. So ideally what I should do is I should complete the document well in advance before the review meeting. I should share it with the people who are who I think that they can add value by reviewing the document. I should not send it to everybody. I should not invite everybody for the meeting. I need to really invite the people who will add value to my document. I will send them well in advance so that they get the time to reading, and then we all will assemble in a meeting for the review meeting. And then I'm the owner of the document, author of the document. I will start projecting it on the projection and start going through the sections. There will be somebody called moderator who will also be like monitoring, and mostly that will be like the manager of the organization. He will take the ensure that the meeting gets started on time, gets ended on time, and everybody gets sufficient time to give their comments, etc. And there will be a person who will be taking all the notes. Like for example, if one person says this particular section needs to be redefined, it's not very clear, the intent is not coming out, need to have more examples, etc. The person will take the notes, and then at the end of the meeting, we'll circulate that as a minutes of meeting. And then action items comes to me as an author of the document to go and fix all the comments that they have given, and then set up a follow-up meeting to close or close it through an email conversation. So there's a process involved, and understanding that process, how we should behave in that process, what is our goal in that process, all that we're going to understand more in detail. Then we'll get into something called testing techniques, like categories of test techniques, black box, white box, experience-based techniques. And then there is a bit on the test management. So understanding the testing organization, how do you do test planning and estimation? How do you do what test monitoring and control? Configuration management, like again, I'm talking about there are many tools involved in a software project management, right? One is the application lifecycle management to maintain user stories or requirements and the traceability among all of that. Testing related deliverables like your test plan, your test cases, your automation, and then the execution information. Like things are becoming more and more complex. For example, any website that we're going to test it from things like web UI, many different operating systems, many different browsers, mobile UI. Then I may be also trying to access it as a service. So all those information you have to maintain it in some of the tools. So that's where the test management tools comes into picture. How you are going to monitor as you get into senior level, when you become test lead and all, you will have to monitor the results from your team, take the necessary action when things are not going properly. So how do you do those monitoring and control the actions so that they are as per the plan? And then also configuration management, like source code management, your automation code management, your DevOps related tools, all that we're going to talk about here. And the risk-based testing, defect management. So defect management is pretty straightforward, where we're going to talk about the defect tracking tool and what kind of features that they offer, what kind of reportings that they provide. And then we'll get into the tools for testing, the testing tools considerations and effective usage of the tools. If you remember the 2011 section of it had, you're going to introduce the tool to an organization. So now it's basically deciding effective use of the tool. So once maybe I would say with this, they are handing over the decision of you being deciding the tool to senior person, some senior person in the team, maybe a test lead or test manager. But your job becomes simple now. Of course, if you are at that level of guiding the organization with the knowledge that you have with a tool, that's well and good. But at least I can see from 2018 with the syllabus change, that's taken out from you. You're going to basically focus on how effectively you can use the tool itself. So this is a new syllabus. We are going to talk to this, and I can tell you this is much simpler than what I used to have provide the training for the last based on the 2011 syllabus. And I can definitely tell you we have more content than what is required. We have more questions than what is required. So it's again my job to filter out and give you the required, and it's very easy to get. I can feel now because the syllabus is kind of uh, crunched or reduced rather than really having more. because they are getting into the different categories of certification. So I think they clearly isolated. So any questions on the syllabus? That's true from the latest 2018 content. Just want to spend few minutes here. So if there are any questions. And just to give you the more detailed context, the way we are going to deal it. The way like we will have all these, this is basically for ISTQB Advanced that I've recently handed. Similarly, for every chapter, I'll hand over the document with a full-fledged notes, and then we will have these quiz questions. At the end of every chapter, we will have quiz, and we will also have a couple of grand mock tests. In case of foundational level, at least we will go through like 3 grand mock tests. I should just pull out. Okay, no worries on that. So yeah, that's how we are going to maintain all the chapter notes and the quiz questions. So any questions from these chapters? Okay, I can close on this. Close this guy also. You can even get for the same syllabus from here as well. If you go into foundational level syllabus, you can actually we can download this and see more in detail. If anybody wants to go into more in details, how many hours we have to spend. That was just a high level content, but this will have detailed orientation of this syllabus from each chapter wise. So okay, so you can definitely plan after. I would suggest Dhiren something like, okay, Dhiren's question is which advanced level course you're going to take after foundational level. Okay, if you're just asking from a training point of view, the one that I've just completed was on test management level because there were a lot of people asking for it. But yeah, I mean, soon we may even launch test analyst and agile test engineer. So I think we will start agile, which is not advanced level, but agile is also like a lot of people are asking for it. So advanced we have done with the test management level. So you can see over here, the format of the question that I've been saying, there are 40 questions to pass the exam, at least 65%. That is, if you answer 26 questions, that's it. So you will be kind of getting the certification. And in my view, and with the kind of detailed training that we go through, I feel it's definitely achievable. Okay, so here are the details of how we should spend the time and preparing as well. Chapter 1, we should spend around 175 minutes, 200 minutes, 3, 135 minutes. Fourth chapter is the largest one, 330 minutes, 5, 225 minutes, and this just like one session we'll be able to discuss. But I'll definitely take more than 40 minutes. Like we'll spend around good 90 minutes understanding the various tools available. And how you're going to spend on the fundamentals of testing 175 minutes, here are the details. To the detail where which topic will have what type of questions. So we were talking about this K1, K2, K3, K4 type of questions, right? So let's look at that category first. So K1 is a very simple, we will discuss the topic. For example, like yesterday I was giving an example, I can say that again, a lot of people call it as issue, defect, bug, error, right? I'm not sure if any other name is there. Generally people call it. So we'll clearly define what is mean by an issue, what is mean by a bug, what is mean by a defect, what is mean by error. So will discuss the definitions for it as per the ISTQB defined definition, or in general that's obviously makes more sense than simply calling vice versa, saying in case of an error, generally we call it the programming related errors, we call it as an error. In case of an error, you're calling it as a defect. In case of a defect, you call it as an error. Like generally, if there is any deviation from an expected functionality of the application, if it is deviating from that, we call it as a defect. So in case of calling defect as an error, error as a defect, it happens. A lot of people call it in, I would say, practical world. People generally use the terms very interchangeably. But as per the exam, you have to kind of, I would not say you have to by heart, but that's what it is. Like the definition you have to remember as it is. Just to remember the definition of it. And then there'll be a question around that. You go simply by reading the 4 multiple choice answers that you have, you'll be able to answer it. And that's what is called K1 type of question. Whereas K2 type of question, you have to apply a little bit brain basically. So you have to understand the question. The candidate should select an explanation of a statement. So obviously it's not, so you can see again the definition of the first one. The candidate should remember or recognize a term or a concept. Basically the definitions. This one, the candidate should select an explanation for a statement related to the question topic. So you have a question and there are 4 answers. Basically, there is an explanation about that. I mean, it's not narrative. You're not going to write anything, but there are explanations in terms of 4 answers. You have to go, you choose the right one that is explaining the answer related to the question. Again, basically, you have to just apply the answer to the question. Again, very easy, nothing to really uh, put a lot of brainstorm. The K3 type of questions is where you're going to apply something. For example, based on the formula that we discussed, let's say defect density that we talk about, or defect leakage, or DRE, defect removal efficiency. We'll talk about some of these simple formula, how we should calculate things like that. So you're going to apply that formula and then you will arrive at it's not like very mathematical type of formula, but some of the important metrics that you have to calculate during your work time, right? So your leadership team, maybe your manager may be looking for it. Hey, you're saying you found these many defects and here is the project code. What kind of interesting data that you're getting from it? So then you'll go with some couple of interesting metrics. Hey, for this kilo lines of code or these 1,000 lines of code, I found these defects, and it's a pattern that is coming up. So you will say, and an average for these many kilo lines of code, these many defects the team is finding. Something like that. You will calculate some metrics. For that, you will apply some formula. So the candidate should select the correct application of a concept or a technique and apply it for a given context. Or we will say something called boundary value analysis. So then there will be a question and then there will be a set of answers given. So you should know what is boundary value analysis technique, and from the 4 answers that is given, you apply the technique and then you'll say which is the correct boundary that you're going to validate it. So that's basically done. I mean, based on that, you will be able to answer. K4 requires little bit more analysis. The candidate can separate the information related to a procedure or a technique into constituent parts for a better understanding. I can distinguish between the facts and inferences. So which is fact, which is inference. So that kind of difference you're going to make it. But I would say, as far as I remember, at least the previous syllabus had, but let me check this syllabus. What I remember is like not many K4 questions. It's hardly like very few. So anyway, we'll go through it. So that's the category of the question. So any questions on the K levels that we have? Anybody still not clear what is K1, K2, K3, K4? All right. So let's go into this more in detail. So fundamentals of testing, the first chapter, we're going to spend 175 minutes going to understand like, no, K5 and K6 is only for expert level PH. We don't need that for now. You can see over here, K5 and K6, only the expert level exams. And they will have from K2 to K6. They won't have anything like K1. Foundational level, Advanced level, only this. So identifying the typical objectives of testing, why somebody should do testing, different testing, what is the difference of testing from debugging. Again, I'm sure everybody is doing this, everybody does testing, but unless you really understand the clear differences of between debugging and testing, you won't be able to differentiate, right? Giving examples of why testing necessary, describe the relationship between testing and quality assurance. Like a lot of people say QA and QC, right? Quality assurance and quality control. People say this is where you are going to be very different from the people who just got trained or who are not certified. Um, what is the difference between quality assurance and quality control? What is the difference between verification and validation, right? Both looks pretty similar, like verification, validation, but who does what, when you do what, when you're actually doing verification, when you're actually doing validation, right? So describe the relationship between testing and quality assurance. Like QA, a lot of people, okay, everybody calls themselves as a QA, right? So that is very different. It's not actually the testing what we do. Quality assurance is at the organizational level, and that particular team tries to get a certification for the overall organization. Things like if any company wants to go for ISO certification, if any company wants to go for CMM level certification, if any company wants to go for Six Sigma certification. Heard of these? CMM level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are different 5 levels, and there is something called CMMI, capability maturity model for integration. There are different levels of certifications for an organization. The way we as an individual trying to differentiate ourselves, certify ourselves as a quality person, organizations also will try to get the certifications themselves. When you go through any company advertisement, or when you go through, let's say, job requirement for a company, the first paragraph they'll talk about the company. This company is a CMM level 5 company, registered in, let's say, Atlanta and headquartered in Atlanta with some 5,000 people working, blah, 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 right? So what is that they're trying to do? They're trying to exhibit the brand that they have. They're trying to differentiate how they are different from others in the same field. So any company which is trying to get a certification of ISO, Indian, basically ISO is basically in India, but you have CMMI, you have Six Sigma, these kind of certifications. The quality assurance people, the QA team, again, there is a QA organization who are like experts in getting a company to get the certification. In my view, they are the highest paid people in the industry. I know because I was working for an organization, and it's about 15 years back story. That time the company was going for CMM level 4 certification, 4 and 5 they were targeting. And from the testing side, I was the kind of in charge for my project, because unless every project follow those principles, the company cannot get a certification. So what will happen there is every project has to follow the standards, and the auditors will come from the CMM, auditors will come from the Six Sigma, auditors will come from an ISO. They will randomly pick up, like if you project them, here are the 20 projects going on in an organization, they will randomly pick some 2 or 3 projects and ask questions. There will be some good 150 plus questions will be there, and every question needs a proof for them. If you say that we are maintaining the test cases in a test management tool, you have to show them what is the test management tool that you have. You have to show them how are you managing the test cases, what are the test suites. So I was in charge from the testing side for my project, and it's really grilling the team and asking all the questions to ensure from everywhere we are following the quality. And if they satisfy from the projects that they pick it up, both in terms of development, testing, operations, maintenance, then only they'll issue the certification that yes, this company is following the standards of capability maturity model, or this company is following the standards of Six Sigma. And after that, that is not lifelong valid for them. If that is the case, what happens? Companies will go really work hard and get certification, and after that they may compromise on quality, right? Whereas the certification that we achieve on ISTQB, okay, at least we are saying it's valid for ever. But again, with the assumption that you'll not lose those qualities after a while, right? But companies, they will the auditors will come every 6 months and every 1 year, and again do a random check that you're really following or not. If they feel that at any point of the time you're not really following, they can actually remove the certification for the company. And those are all very important to get the clients and the projects. So that particular team who helps the organization to get the certification are actually called QA, quality assurance team. But what generally the entire world is calling, everybody says, I'm a QA engineer with 3 years experience, I'm a QA engineer with 5 years experience. No, you're not part of the QA. You're actually part of QC, quality control. We are part of the quality control. Test engineers are part of the quality control, not quality assurance. So these kind of differences we'll discuss more and more in detail, and that's where you'll be able to understand the real difference in terms of what is what. Distinguishing between error, defect, and failure, distinguishing between the root cause of a defect and its effect. So again, understanding the real root cause so that you will either completely eliminate it won't appear, or you'll at least take the precaution so that it will not really be a problem. So that kind of detail we're going to go through, and then we'll understand the testing process, the psychology of testing. So like that, every chapter they will give you detailed content, and also they will help us which content will get you what type of questions, like K1 type of questions or K2 type of questions or K3 type of questions. So they'll also explain all that. Similarly, if you go into the chapter 2, you'll have the similar explanation here. And then sections 2.1.1, etc., K1, K2, K3 type of questions. So this is how we're going to go more in detail about that. And let me spend a few minutes on these individual country websites, in-country websites. For example, if I'm in India, so here is an Indian testing board, and this is kind of started in 2004. It's in Noida, headquartered in Noida, and they basically take care of foundational level and advanced level, not really an expert level. Expert level, I think we have to go from the direct main website itself. And if you open this website, like that, you all can see from your own country websites as well. This is basically because a lot of people will come and visit this site, so it's also becoming a advertisement section for any conferences that are happening. Like this is basically so they are also coming up with something like certified selenium engineer. Okay, so and here is coach. Basically, I would say this is more like their advertisement. And if you go here, and if you wanted to see the dates, like definitely, I mean, it may not be exactly the same links, and you have to just do a little bit exploration. But if you cannot find it, you can always let me know which country that you are from. I'll help you to find out. So you can go to the foundational exam dates. Let's say I'm from India, and if I wanted to take this exam, by the way, I'm already certified, I don't need to take, but in case if I wanted to take it, okay, then we need to spend a little more time here. They keep changing exam dates. Click here for enrollment. So if you just say a little bit about yourself, then you will come to know all the details, because for the same reason that everybody is just coming and really checking it, so they are trying to give these details. That's okay, I can give my details for now. I don't have this email ID registered, so I'm a new user. Oh, then we have to fill up all these details. Okay, so you can do this. I think this might contradict with my existing details. Once you register, then they'll show you the list of dates. I would suggest like at least take 45 days from now. or at least like, yeah, 45 days from now, or 2 months if you can take, that's well and good, so that you will have a complete preparation, and you'll have yeah, you will be definitely ready in like 2 months from now in a proper way. So similarly, you can look for exam dates on agile, advanced, model based. Yeah, so like this, you have to go to every country website, and let's see if there is anything on American site. Yeah, even after registering, if you're still facing any problems, let me know, I'll help you. Yeah, everywhere it's kind of register is required now. And here are some sample exam questions from the 2011, but they are like only very few samples. Go to this foundational level. Yeah, it's like we have to register. So everywhere they made this as a mandatory now. And then you can say, you can see the exam registration options. So for the people in US, so here is a fees for you. Foundation level examination fees. I think for the people in India, it would be around close to 5,000. Yeah, this is a little high, obviously, for the US, but yeah, it's not exactly simple conversion. So you can pay through online, and if for agile test engineers and all, it's 150 because you have already gone through foundational level, 150, and advanced level is 200. Expert level is about 375. And you can write from anywhere. Let's say, I mean, just in case, you should not really be waiting for that. But in case if you're traveling to India and you want to take the exam in India, you can very well do that. You can even take in your company as well. So from the company also, they will enable the website so they can take it from there. Any authorized center is fine, but you can take it from a registered company also. So like this, you have to go into every testing organization board from where you are in, and look for more details about the locations that's available. Almost every, tier 2 city, tier 1, tier 2 cities, in fact, tier 1, tier 2 cities in every country will have the centers from where you can write this. All right, so this is more about this. Let's meet next week to kind of get into more detailed discussion, starting with the course content. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please drop us an email. But at least like take some good 45 days at least for the preparation, and then you can appear for the exam. And I'm telling you, like yesterday also I told, I'm trying to challenge myself. If you guys are serious, will definitely get certification. It's not that it's not possible. The previous history is about 90-95% of the people who are getting it. So planning to target like 100% dispatch. All right, cool. So thanks for attending the orientation. See you next week for the detailed training. Thanks everyone.